Today we are going to concentrate on loops in Python. To be perfect in any language, you must start with basic concepts. For loop is one of them. This is very important to understand for the programmers. Most of the time we are ignoring to brush up these small important parts of the language. While learning any programming language, we must start practicing it side by side. The main thing applies while learning for a loop. For loop is confusing to many programmers. It is good to practice if you try out the code at the same time when you are learning it. Okay, so in the meantime, I'll also open the Jupyter notebook. You also open your Jupyter notebook. We will parallelly practice the codes. Okay, so the first one is, suppose we need to print each and every letter in the sentence. So we will do a simple programming for that. So I'll open the Jupyter notebook in meantime. Yes, this is my Jupyter notebook for loop. So let me create a variable first, string variable, that is greeting. Greeting is equal to, I am trying to store the string values inside that. It's hello Python. Okay. If I want to access and print each and every characters which is present in my variable, so I have to use a print statement with the variable name along with the index here. If I want to print all the characters, I want to change the index number. Since there are in total 12 characters including one space, so since the index starts from the 0, I am trying to write the code up to 11 index number. 8. So this is my last character. When I am trying to execute this code, see, hello Python, all the characters got printed individually with the help of its index number. I am trying to access it one by one and I am printing all those characters. Okay. So if you look at this program, it seems like more repetitive we have to do it. It is bulky. We have only 11 characters to print. Suppose if we have to print the letters for whole paragraph or the articles which may have thousands of words, we have to write the print statement with no limit. So as a human being, it is very tedious task to deal with this. So the solution is to iterate over it. So now we will concentrate on reducing the code with required output. Now it's time to improve our code with a for loop. I'll show the same task how to solve it with the help of for loop. Okay. So let me create the variable again, greeting. Hello Python is a value I am storing inside that. So I am using the for loop. This is a syntax for loop. I letter in greeting. So it ends with a colon here, and then my print statement is print letter. Okay. So when I am trying to just run this code, see on my console, so all these bulk of lines, so see from the 3rd line to 14th line got shrunk into one line. This is actually with the help of for loop. It's a usage of for loop. Okay. So this is a difference between the code. The for loop actually helps us to write the code in simpler way with less code, and we can iterate over it. This minimizes the confusion and reduces the number of lines of code, better understanding, and the time to execute the code also will get reduced, means it will run faster. So now I hope you got an idea why the for loop is necessary for the coding and how it reduces our headache if you want to iterate over the bulky data. It is a time to look into the syntax for the for loop now with many different examples. Okay. So now I am trying to create a list, and see, color is a list name. I am including the list elements here. So first element is green and my second element is pink, third element is red. These are my elements or items inside my list. The name of the list here is color, and then I am trying to use the for loop here. For I in color, this is my list name. I am trying to iterate with the variable I, and then I am trying to print I. When I try to run this code, let us see what happens. See, in my first iteration, so it goes here. So I is equal to green in the color first, since green is the first element in my list. So it will try to print green. Again, in the next iteration, my I value changes for the pink, and it will print the pink. And the next iteration, my I value will be red, and red is printed here. And I can add lot of control to my for loop also. For example, if my I equal to pink, print, sorry, break. Let us see, execute it and see. Yeah, so initially my I value will be green here. It will print it here when it comes to the second line. And if the control goes to the if statement here, if I is equal to pink, no, green is not equal to the pink, so what happens, it will print the green and go for the next iteration. And in the second iteration, the value of the I changes to pink here. So on the next line, pink got printed here because I have given the print statement. And the next line, when the program control goes here, if pink is equal to pink, what happens, it breaks and comes out of the loop, so that it is not going to print the it is not going to iterate for the next iteration. So red is not printed here. So in this way we can add lot of control to the program. Okay, so in the next example we will see the other way of using the for loop. For letter, instead of letter you can give I, x, y, z, any variable. Okay, for I in, I'm giving my string value here, hello all. Okay, and sorry to forget to give the colon here. And then I'm trying to print my current letter here. So the variable I have to give is a letter here. Let me execute this program and see what happens here. See what happens, it is trying to just fetch all the characters which is present in my string. The whole string I am trying to give it in the for loop itself. Okay, I am not creating any separate variables to store the string value. I am just giving as such the string values in my for loop, and I am trying to use it print the same thing in the using my print statement in the second line. So I am not using any index to access it. This is one of the way you can use a for loop. Okay, and the next one is we are trying to use a range keyword. We'll use the range keyword inside the for loop. See what is the usage of range keyword. For I in range 1,5, and it ends with a colon, and I am trying to print my I. So let us see what happens here. See, So the range is, which tells how many times the loop have to iterate. Here the range starts from 1 and it will exclude the end range, so it will take up to 4. So 1 2 3 4, that is 4 times it will totally iterate. Okay, and the next one is you can add the increment value. For example, if you give 10 here, what happens? So 9 minus 1, if I give 10 minus 1, 9 times the loop will get iterate. Okay, so when I give another one argument here, that is an increment argument. If you want to increment 2 by 2, so you can give it like that. So totally from 1 up to 9 it will go maximum, and what is the increment value is 2, so it will add plus 2 plus 2, so it is iterating in this way. This is another way of using the range keyword inside the for loop. Okay, next one I'll show you another example using the range keyword. So I am creating my cars list. Yeah, the cars list, the elements here is Toyota, and the next one is Tata, and the next one is Honda. These are my elements, are the items of the list cars. So what I'm going to do is I'm writing a for loop for car in range of, so usually the range I'll put it inside my round bracket, length of, I'm using the len method here, length of cars, that is my list name. So what is the length of list here is 3. So next I'm trying to print current cars. So cars of car. So when I'm trying to execute this code, what happens? It is trying to first initially I have created the list, and in the for loop, instead of range, instead of giving the starting value, ending value and the increment value as we have discussed in the previous example, I am trying to give the method inside, that is a length method. The length of list name I am passing it here as an argument. So the length of the cars list is 3, so the range goes to 3 here. So it will try to iterate 3 times. In the first iteration, the Toyota will be stored inside my variable car. So once I give the first one, the car value will consist of 0. So in the first iteration, cars of 0, the Toyota will be printed here, and the next iteration the car value will consist of 1, so that here when it comes to the print statement, cars of 1 will try to access the Tata, and it goes on. It's like it is another way of using these different type of methods inside the range keyword. Okay, and the next one is very interesting, that is a nested for loop. Let me give one small example for that. So I'm creating my numbers list 1, 2, and another list I'll create, that is maybe we can go for colors list, that is red and blue. Okay, these are my 2 lists I have created. Next I am trying to write my first for loop for x in for numbers list, and then I am writing another for loop here for y in color. So what I am going to, sorry, I executed it before writing it. Okay, and next I am going to print the both x and y value here for each and every iteration. Okay, so let us execute and see what happens here. See, this is my output on my console here. So what happens, this is my first list, that is numbers, and my second list is the colors. In the first loop, when it passes, so x will be here, x will be 1, So with the value of x1, it enters through the next for loop. So in the next for loop, the y denotes the red, that is the first element of the colors list. So when I am trying to print it's 1 and red, and it will again, this loop is not over, it will iterate inside the inner loop. Again the value of the x will be the same 1, and the value of the y changes to the blue. So again it will print 1 and blue, and the colors are over. Now the colors elements are over, so it will come out of the loop. Again it will go to the outer loop. So here the x value changes to 2 because that is a second element in the list number. So it comes to the inner inner loop, and again the inner loop will run twice here because two elements are present inside the colors list. So 2 and red, and in the next inner iteration it will print 2 and blue, and it comes out of the outer loop. Okay, so this is about the nested loop, and that's all for the today's class. We have seen syntax and with examples how to practice for loop. So loops are strategically very important to learn to perform a task with minimal lines of code. This is just a basic introduction to the loop. If you want to go in depth about that, you can see my other videos also. Thank you for watching this video.